I do anything. I swear. Like, so my face is red. Wow. This is why I have a problem looking at videos. I can't even figure out how to fix that part. I guess it's whatever at this point. Okay. Hi. I've adjusted some things around. You can see my cat. She's sleeping. That's actually technically her spot. My kids are at school. My laundry is in the wash. Dishes are done. Yada, 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 yada. I only have one person here, and she's still asleep. And normally I wouldn't say sleep in, but please sleep in today. But her phone's been going off for the last half hour, so I'm half expecting her to get up. It's 9:30 almost in the morning. I was trying to figure out if I do this a little bit more consistently. Sorry, there's dust on my computer. Go away. If I do this a little bit more consistently, what kind of time I'd be looking at. And I know it seems dark in the area right now. Honestly, it looks like it's about to rain. Again, I'm in Pennsylvania, so we don't get a lot of sunlight during this time of year. I saw a meme the other day that said, you know, we've entered the time frame of we wake up, we get sunshine until about 2, and then it's just night. And that's probably the most accurate description of this state during this time of year. It's almost like we hibernate up here because we don't want to come out. And who would? My lord. It's just awful and dreary and cold, and you know, the lack of sunlight makes everybody feel like you just want to go back to bed. I mean, honestly, that's kind of where everybody is. So, now that I actually can talk at a normal level, and hopefully I don't sound like I'm screaming, and I can put my thoughts in together without having to worry about who's where in my house. You know, I can go over a few more things, and now that I know that I can actually record these things and keep them for later, you know, now I don't have to worry about repeating. So yesterday, in the morning, I did about 3 hours on here talking about Find a Grave and Ancestry. And none of that recorded. The only way you were going to see it if you were here, and there wasn't that many. Which, honestly, I wasn't. I was surprised there was anybody at all. Because I'm not new to Twitch, but I am new to streaming this way. My YouTube channel has a lot more. I haven't connected the YouTube channel to the Twitch yet. I am considering it, but still trying to figure out how to do that, because not that I don't know how to do it, I absolutely do. I don't want to take away from what I was already doing over there. I'd like to integrate the two, because on my YouTube channel, as I have said in previous things, I have the complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD. And what that is, you know, it's not one event. You know, it's not a car wreck, it's not a near-death experience, or, you know, an assault. It is multiple events happening over a long period of time that it basically conditions your mind to think that it's normal. and over time you lose confidence in yourself, and it can make you paranoid, can make people turn to drugs because they're feeling unloved or they're afraid of their reality. And that's a hard truth. A lot of people want to think that an addict can just get off, and most times they can't. They really can't. And they don't necessarily need NA or AA in order to quit either. Those are very helpful tools, but what they really need is a motivator. They need a reason to get off. Because if their reality was bad in their mind and their reality is good on the substance, why in the world would they want to go back to the bad reality? You need to help them adjust their reality to be more favorable for them to want to change. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to grasp, because it's a lot of work. And the person who needs to do the work is the person who is the addict. I mean, nobody else can do it for you. You can pass them the tools, but you can't do it for them. So, and that becomes the problem. So, with that said, it's difficult to determine if you're, here goes my phone again, enabling, or if you're truly helping. And there's a fine line in between, so I don't want to sit here and dictate what is or what isn't. But the best thing I could recommend for anybody who has a loved one in those situations is to just be supportive. Don't put them down. You don't have to give them anything or provide them with anything. But the last thing you should ever do is put them down. You give them another reason not to get off. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line. Don't do that. They'll gaslight, they'll manipulate, because they're fiending at the time. They need the drug at the time. But they need a reason not to want it. So the best you can do is just be supportive. Don't put down. And if they need a person to talk to, and you can't be that person, because, I mean, if you're not a licensed therapist, even if you are a licensed therapist, if you're not their therapist, you can listen to them, but you have your life too, and you can't constantly be there. So, especially for somebody who constantly needs reassurance, it's better to have somebody who's trained. A lot of addicts are suffering from some kind of trauma. Sometimes they don't even know it's a trauma. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder comes across as like a normal thing. A lot of people think, for example, that if your parents yelled all your life, that's not post-traumatic stress. It can be. So let me just put it that way. It can be. It doesn't have to be. But if it becomes that way, it's not your fault. It's just what happened. And in that case, some people will normalize that behavior and say, well, they'll make excuses for it and say, well, my dad was stressed out or my mom was upset. And then they'll say, well, then if I'm upset or if I'm stressed out, maybe the way that I behave is normal too, because it's like them. And that's part of the problem. Or if they see the same behavior in other people, they will react the same way, whereas, oh, that's just normal. It's not normal. It's better, like, you don't have to get involved, but, like, just recognizing it for what it is and saying to yourself, wow, they're having a hard time. Not, oh, they're just fighting, it's okay. There's multiple different ways to go about it. But the most efficient way for your own mental health is to just call it like you see it, and not normalize it. You know, again, you don't have to get involved. You don't have to make a big fuss about it. I mean, if there's something serious going on, definitely, you know, call police. But if, you know, you see an argument, and I tend to not normalize it, but I try to look past the argument. And I will say at times, you know, they must be having a bad day to react that way. I'm not normalizing it. I'm just trying to figure out what's triggering them and not take it personally, too. Because what if that person decides to go off on me because I looked at them? I mean, I could personalize it and go, you just don't like the way I look. But honestly, I know that's not true. It's more like, quote, what's your problem? Because they got a problem. I know it sounds condescending and even a little cold at times, but it really is what it is. They have a problem, and you are just the focus of that problem at the time. All right, so I could sit here and chat all day, but that is mainly the focus of my YouTube channel. It's a diary, essentially, from my traumatic past, learning about my complex post-traumatic stress disorder and what events had led up to it, or have compounded it, I should say. The tricky thing about CPTSD is it kind of never ends. Once you get into that cycle of, you know, bad things, it's almost, I hate to use the word trigger. The therapist and I that I've worked with before, well, it scared me. The therapist and I that I've worked with before one-on-one, I have a feeling I know what this is, but I just want to double check. No, I clicked on the wrong thing. Come on, phone. Behave. Okay, it is. Okay. That sound is actually the sound of, I don't know if you guys heard it, but my phone makes that sound when Amazon makes a sale. My sales are out, they're packaged, they're on my porch waiting for the postman to come get them. And Amazon tends to tell me too late that I have a sale. That's what that was. So it was like, oh, please don't tell me I have a new one. Oh, please don't. But it wasn't.